Hello, beautiful beings. This too shall pass. Today, on the 4th of July, the energy feels like a party vibe. If you are highly empathic, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So, what it has stirred up for me today is the desire to use marijuana again. I've been quit for 3 months now and been doing really great. I've only had maybe three other really strong desires to use marijuana since I quit 3 months ago. So that's not too bad, and I've made it through every one of those. This time, I've still made it. I'm past the storm. I just, I'm seeing groups of people hanging out here at the RV park, and they're drinking and they're smoking pot and they're laughing, and it seems like they're having such a good time, and they're together. I'm sure that I could have went to any of my daughter's houses for the 4th of July, but I've been doing art projects here around in my tiny home, and I've been actually having a really great day. But still, the feeling of, I hear some readers talk about this. Light workers don't seem to really fit in those those groups of people, and I actually never have. Even when I was drinking and smoking marijuana, I still didn't fit into those groups. Yeah, so that's fine. It's not that I felt really lonely, I just felt excluded. Yeah, excluded. But I like to follow things through, and for example, if I would have went and got marijuana today, I know that I would have to accept everything that comes with that. And for myself, I know that using marijuana would lead to daily use every single day, all day long. Even if I wasn't doing it all day long for like the first week, that's about how long I can make it without actually doing it in the morning. I'm saying doing it instead of smoking it because I've reached a place in myself where I literally I cannot smoke it anymore. I cough and cough from the very, if I've taken even a 5 month break and I start smoking out of a dry herb vaporizer, I cannot stop coughing no matter how small of a hit I take. It was like that, not quite that extreme when I was smoking cigarettes, but I had chronic bronchitis. My body has never liked smoking, and they're reminding me that the divine has always loved me so much that I have never been able to get away with continuing to do something that I just don't need anymore. It's never, I've never done something and been able to do it with 100% impunity. There's always been a catch. So, not doing it, I don't cough until I almost throw up. I've hardly coughed at all since I quit. It's really amazing. The coughing was so loud too, and it just jarred my whole body. And I could tell that it really bothered Duzert also. So the storm has passed. I don't feel like smoking anymore. I don't feel like going and getting some edibles. That was never my preferred way to use marijuana anyway. Was edibles. It's definitely a different kind of high than smoking it. So the party vibe. If you're highly empathic and you pick up on the collective energy that's going on, especially on holidays, or a full moon, or a new moon, or any type of major planetary shift, then you know that, like the party vibe, it just felt like that's how I was feeling until I realized, wait a second, this isn't mine. This is what I'm picking up because there's a big group of guys over here on the other side of this cabin from me that have been there all day. They started drinking this morning, and they just sound like they're having such a great time. I have not been tempted to drink since I quit drinking over 20 years ago now. I have that the phenomenon of craving, the desire to drink, has never ever come back. I have seen it like when I used to still watch commercials. I would see it in a commercial, and sometimes I would romanticize it and think, wow, that looks really good. And in the summertime, especially, the commercials would be, ice cold beer. No. And I would immediately, call my sponsor or talk to one of my daughters or all three of my daughters and say I was just seeing alcohol. And so we would have a mini meeting, and just like 10 minutes later, I'd feel perfectly fine. And always I would say, remove any desire I may have to drink, even if I felt like I wasn't having a desire to drink. Just noticing it to me was at the very beginning of having a desire. And I used to be a daily drinker. For the last 4 years of my drinking, I drank from morning until night. And I had that phenomenon of craving where I would wake up in the morning or go to bed at night absolutely determined 100% I will not drink tomorrow. And I would get up in the morning and any resolve I had was completely gone. I just wanted to feel better mentally and physically. And so I thought that I was helping myself feel better for those 4 years. I was caught in that, just the vicious cycle of it. And but I was making myself feel worse, and finally was able to. I got on my knees. It was on a Thursday, I believe. I got on my knees. No, that's when I went back to AA. It was on a Thursday. It was on a weekend. I got on my knees and I said, please help me quit drinking. I don't feel like I can quit by myself. And I heard, before I even knew that I could hear my guides, I heard, you'll be able to hear us better if you do. And I just heard it so loud and clear. I was very excited about it. And so that weekend, I had been out at the bar, and some guy took my keys out of my pocket. And so at the end of the night, I didn't have my keys. And who showed up? And I didn't see him after that at all. But then at the end of the night, when I was looking for them and I was sitting in my car with the door open, he showed up, and he was just like, oh, baby, I'll help you. I'll give you a ride. And all of a sudden, and this was like way before I realized that I could really hear my intuition. This was over 20 years ago. And I mean, I was working on stuff like that. I was just starting to learn about stuff like that. But all of a sudden I said, you took my keys. Because at the very beginning of the evening, I encountered this guy. He was a college guy, and he was hitting on me, and I got a bad feeling from him. And I was joining a group of friends that night. And I was just like, no, thank you. I'm going to go hang out with my friends. Well, yeah, so that happened, and the next day I had to spend a bunch of money to get a new ignition switch put in my car and a new key made, and yeah, it was a very expensive. Well, I wasn't getting away with going to the bars anymore or drinking. That's how it happens. Is don't worry, it'll get louder. The consequences get bigger, and also I could not shake the feeling that I was on the verge of getting a DUI. I knew I was. So from that weekend to the next weekend, same sidewalk. The bar that I was at, right next, like super, super close to the front door of that bar, there was a little tiny doorway, and it went up these steep stairs to an AA meeting. And so from one weekend being at the bar to the next weekend, I was running down that sidewalk so I wouldn't be late for an AA meeting. Yeah. And then the morning after I had lost my keys, there was a garbage can out in front of the bar. And I was reaching in there. I was just like, I bet he threw my keys in the garbage in here. And so I was reaching in as far as I could, like up to my neck. And because the opening was in the front. And so I was trying to see if I could find my keys. And I heard rattling of keys. And I looked over. I was just like kind of looking up, and then I looked over, and there was a woman walking down the sidewalk towards me, and she had her keys in her hand, and she was just riveted on me and straight faced. And I said, oh yeah, just one of those days. And my face was just on fire. I was so embarrassed. And she didn't smile, nothing. She looked absolutely disgusted. Oh, so going from that to not wanting to be late for an AA meeting the next weekend, oh, quite miraculous. The morning that I woke up and I knew that Thursday, after that, the bar weekend, that Thursday, I knew I was going back to AA. I had been in AA 14 years before that, and I had been sober for a year. And anyway, so that morning I cracked 3 eggs into a empty cottage cheese container, and I went and woke my girls up, and I was just like, "Good morning, girls, it's a beautiful day." And I used to say that when I was drinking also, but I didn't feel it inside. I just felt just empty, super empty. They used to call it the hole in your soul with the wind blowing through. And so I went and woke them up, and I was just like, I knew something had happened because I didn't have any desire to drink that morning. I knew that a miracle had happened, and was happening, and I knew it was a gift, and I've always known it was a gift. And so I went back to stir up those eggs in that cottage cheese container, and the 2 eggs there, I had cracked 4 eggs in there, and the 2 eggs on the bottom had broke, and they curved up, and then the 2 eggs on the top had stayed whole, and I was looking down at a big bright yellow smiley face. Yeah, so that's been over 20 years ago, and I didn't realize that I was going to tell you all that, but it's just wonderful. And so not using marijuana today feels really, really good, and this too shall pass. It always passes. If you're trying not to do some type of drug, or trying not to overeat, or whatever it is that you are trying not to do, and it's got a grip on you, this too shall pass. It's I ask the divine, please remove any desire I may have for marijuana, and it's pretty magical. They're saying that's the mustard seed of faith. I'm not religious, but I do love that concept. Just saying that prayer, just being willing for the divine to remove the desire, which equals the desire is the thoughts that I'm thinking, the attention that I have on the thoughts that have come in. And so to just be willing to have the divine remove those thoughts removes the desire, and vice versa. And so all of a sudden I realized that I haven't been thinking about it, but these things can be very very potent, and it feels like lower forces come in and try to grip my ankles and pull me off of my divine path. And I'm getting really good at not being pulled off my path. But yes, that's right. They're saying, but that's a paradox because they just called me little one. That's a paradox because everything that I've done up until this point was on my path. It wasn't a mistake. But there comes a time in my ascension that I know that I no longer need these things that I felt like I needed before. Yeah. So it's been my goal for a really, really long time to reach a place in my life where I'm not reaching out for anything to change how I feel, except for prayer. or one of my loved ones, one of my friends, talk to them, reach out for the phone and call somebody if I'm stuck in my head and I don't feel like I can get out. So if you're struggling with an addiction and it's on you, and you desperately don't want to do it because you know you have to take everything that comes with it, it's not just one day. It's not just the 4th of July for me to use marijuana. It would be every single day, all day long. And I would be so disappointed and sad about that. And all the money too. Yeah, so I don't want everything that comes with it. I don't want the feeling of disappointment in the morning. So yeah, I feel really great. I feel really, really proud of myself. The ancients are really proud of me too, they're saying. I know you are too, Ocean. I think that's it for now. satsangwithmamaji@gmail.com. If you feel lonely on any holidays, don't hesitate to reach out to us. We would love to talk to you about that. Love you so much.